Oh my god.
Away all the future that Red Auerbach had carefully managed to acquire in trades.
As he watched what he had built being torn apart, the Celtics patriarch was even ready to do the unthinkable.
Red was on his way to the airport to accept a job with the Knicks, and you had no hope for this team.
But hope was renewed when Brown sold the team and Red agreed to stay on. In the past, he had boldly pursued players who would be ideal Celtics. And now he had identified a new savior. In 1978, Red drafted Indiana State junior Larry Bird, even though Bird had decided to stay in school for his senior year.
It was odd that they drafted a player that they couldn't have right away, and it was more frustration for the fans to have to wait a year.
And there were many who wondered whether Bird would be worth the wait.
White guy, Indiana State, can't jump, can't run.
He was not fast, he was not quick. I was Larry Bird's biggest skeptic.
The Moors to the NCAA Finals.
It's destiny for these guys.
Once people saw him play, there were no doubts. We were watching Indiana State games here in Boston. Local TV made sure that they got their games because the Celtics were so bad. And he began to embody and represent hope.
Finally, Red's vision would become reality when Bird became a Celtic.
Everything is starting to fall into place. I hope you all realize this. We have Larry, one or two little moves, and we're ready to go.
The first game, I just remember so vividly, they announced Larry Bird's name, and somebody from one of the top tiers threw out a dove, and it flew around the building.
Yes. Oh, that was incredible. Yes, it flew across the garden, and the place erupted. That was unbelievable. This was the unleashing of Larry Bird.
And Bird would pay immediate dividends.
Celtics have got 3 seconds. 2. Bird, a runner. It's good! Yes, indeed!
No one was questioning Red's move any longer. In Larry Bird, he had found all the qualities of Celtic greatness, embodied in one player, a player who combined talent with tenacity.
He'd dive on the floor. He'd do whatever it takes.
Look out, Bird's in the crowd trying to get a loose ball back, and by golly, he does it.
He was the most self-motivated player I ever saw.
Bird had revitalized not only the franchise, but also its fans.
They're hot, they're selling out, they're winning, and it really feels like the old days now. And for Red, this is a crowning achievement. You know, he's got his kind of team back again now.
But Red wasn't through. With one move, he would pull off one of the biggest steals ever in the NBA, acquiring center Robert Parrish and rookie forward Kevin McHale. The Celtics now had the right pieces and just the right player to utilize them.
Larry's going to slow it out. Ahead to McHale. Save that one, guys.
I liked it when everybody was involved. You know, whether I scored 10 points or 20 points or 50 points. I liked it when the ball was moving.
Advantage, Bird on the drive. Look at that pass. Oh, what a show.
Guys would say, well, how are we going to stop Larry Bird? See, that's what Larry Bird wanted.
Larry Bird takes flight. Larry Bird was born December 7, 1956 in West Baden Springs, Indiana, to Georgia Marie and Claude Joseph Joe Bird. A veteran of World War II and the Korean War, his parents were of Irish and Scottish descent, and also Native American. Larry Bird had 4 brothers and a sister. He was raised nearby French Lick, where his mother worked 2 jobs to support Larry and his 5 siblings. Larry has said being poor as a child still motivates him to this day. Georgia and Joe divorced when Larry was in high school, and Joe committed the S word in February 1975. Larry Bird used basketball as an escape from his family problems, starring for Springs Valley High School, class of 1974, and averaging 31 points, 21 rebounds, and 4.0 assists as a senior on his way to becoming the school's all-time scoring leader. According to Larry, he grew up as a huge fan of the Indiana Pacers and the American Basketball Association, and the 6'9" center Mel Daniels, who represented his first exposure to professional basketball. Larry's youngest brother Eddie also played basketball at Indiana State University, where Daniels would coincidentally become an assistant coach to the young Larry Bird once he played there. Larry was slated to become the free agent after the 1983 to 1984 season. In 1983, as part of a collective bargaining agreement, the NBA initially implemented a hard salary cap, meaning that total player salaries could not exceed a certain amount, which would not go into effect until 1984 to 1985. The NBA quickly modified this to a soft cap, meaning the cap could be exceeded in order for a team to resign its own free agent. This is known as the Larry Bird rule. Now we're diving into the college career of Larry Bird on his way to become a superstar. He received a scholarship to play college basketball for Indiana Hoosiers under head coach Bob Knight in 1974. After less than a month at that university campus, he dropped out of school, finding adjustment between his small hometown and a large student population of Bloomington to be overwhelming. He returned to French Lick, enrolling at Northwood Institute, now Northwood University, in nearby West Baden, and working mundane jobs before enrolling at Indiana State University. In 1975, he had a successful 3-year career with the Sacramores, helping them reach the NCAA tournament for the first time in school history with a 33-0 record, where they played the 1979 championship game against Michigan State. Indiana lost game, a rivalry that lasted throughout their professional careers. Despite failing to win the championship, Larry earned numerous year-end awards and absolutely dominated the charts, including the Naismith College Player of the Year award for his college career. He averaged 30.3 points, 13.3 rebounds, and 4.6 assists per game, leading the Sacramores to an 81-13 record during his tenure. He also appeared for the baseball team from time to time, but that is unimportant. He graduated from that university in 1979 with a Bachelor of Science degree in physical education. But that is only the beginning for the legend that became Larry Bird, as he took flight. Now let's get in.
Offense take care of itself.
How much of a difference is it with Parrish out of the game?
Well, he's a key to our defense. He clogs up the middle, and we can send our guys to him night in and night out. But when he's not there, there's a gap. There's no question about that. We just have to cover up for each other a little bit better, and hopefully we can rebound with the teams we play against. But we miss a lot when he's not in there.
Jim Paxson played a great game today. How well is he working into the Celtic system?
Well, he's playing pretty well. He played another great game tonight. He hit the big basket when we needed it and played very good defense. We brought 3 guards in and threw something a little different at him, and it worked. But he's fitting in very fine, and he's doing a great job.
Started off a little cold, and then towards the end you started to pick it up with the 3-pointers. How did you feel about that?
Well, I missed some shots early, but early in the game you can't get too concerned. We were still in the game there when I was missing my shots, but we got down, and at the end of the game they're going to keep going to me. They kept getting the ball in my hands, and if I miss a shot, there's nothing I can do about it. But tonight, down the stretch, they went in for me a little bit better than they did the first quarter.
I got a question on a completely other subject. I'm with Public TV, Channel 2. I would like to know, I'm doing a piece about management style of Casey Jones versus Bill Fitch. I wonder if you could describe the difference.
Well, Casey's a lot more laid back than Coach Fitch was. I felt Coach Fitch was an excellent basketball coach, one of the best I've ever played for. He knew the game in and out, and he worked very hard. Casey's the type of guy that is very knowledgeable. He's been around the game his whole life, and I've always had great respect for both of them. And it was sad last year when Coach Fitch left, but now we got Casey, and I'm very happy with him.
Is he easier to work for?
Well, I don't know about easier. He's not as demanding as Coach Fitch was. Coach Fitch wanted you to be perfect in every phase of the game, which is very impossible, but it's not bad work for a guy like that, because if you know he wants you to be perfect, you know you have an opportunity to be perfect.
They both obviously win.
Well, they're both winners, you know, and it takes a lot of talent and a lot of pride and a lot of teamwork to win a championship, but you know, Coach Fitch was a very tough individual, and he expect nothing but results, and he usually got them. And I'd say KC, you can just look at his past and his coaching records, he's always been successful.
Is he friends? Are you friends with Casey more than Fitch?
Well, I don't know more or less, but I respect both the men more so than anybody I've ever been associated with.
Larry Bird's professional NBA career. Larry Bird was selected by the Boston Celtics with the 6th overall pick in the 1978 NBA draft. He did not sign with the Celtics immediately. He played out his final season at the University of Indiana State before joining the Celtics. General manager Red Auerbach publicly stated that he would not pay Bird more than any Celtic player in their roster. But his agent, Bob Wolf, told Auerbach that Larry would not come to Boston Celtics if he wasn't paid what he had been desired in the 1979 draft pick, where Boston rights would expire when the draft began on June 25th, and Larry would have been likely the highest top pick. After protracted negotiations, he signed a 5-year, $3.25 million contract with his team on June 8th, making Larry Bird the highest paid rookie in sports history. Now, his rookie year, 1979 to 1980, he transformed the Celtics completely. In his career debut, he scored 14 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists in the 114-106 victory over the Houston Rockets. On November 14, 1979, he recorded his first career triple-double with 23 points, 19 rebounds, and 10 assists. 9 days later, he recorded 30-point scoring game in a 118-103 victory over the Indiana Pacers, with an average of 21.3 points, 10.4 rebounds, and 4.5 assists. He was selected to the All-Star team and named Rookie of the Year. The Eastern Conference Finals, Boston was eliminated by the Philadelphia 76ers. At the 1982 All-Star Game, he scored 19 points to win the All-Star MVP award. At the end of the season, he earned his first All-Defensive Team selection. He eventually finished runner-up in Most Valuable Player of the Season (MVP) voting that goes to Moses Malone that year. In the conference finals, the Celtics faced the Sixers for the 3rd year and losing 7 games. Boston's misfortune continued into the next season, with Larry finishing second to MVP Malone and the team losing in the conference semifinals to the Milwaukee Bucks. But that is just the early career beginnings of the rookie in his rookie year. That was Larry Bird's rookie year in the NBA. Now let's go into his sophomore year and following his junior year after that.
You know, he's a very competitive player, and I'm a very competitive player, and we go head to head, and we go for blood almost. You know, it's just, we're so competitive, and I just turned a good game, and I just smile a little bit.
This game meant a lot to everybody, not just me and Magic Collie, but
this is the first sellout they had all year, and they wanted to look good in front of the crowd, and they did. So, we're just looking for a rematch now.
Now, his rivalry with Magic Johnson. The Magic Johnson versus Larry Bird rivalry. They had one of the greatest rivalries in sports ever. The rivalry began in college when Larry and Indiana State lost to Johnson and Michigan State in the NCAA championship game. It continued on in the revived Celtics-Lakers rivalry in the NBA. Either the Celtics led by Larry Bird or the Lakers led by Magic Johnson were present in every NBA final series in the 80s, with Bird and Magic meeting 3 times. Magic got the upper hand against Larry, beating him in 1985 and 1987, while Larry Bird beat Magic in 1984, a fantastic season for Larry Bird. The journalists speculated that Larry and Magic represented different contrasts such as clashes between Celtics and Lakers, East and West, and perhaps but take a chainsaw to their souls and they were like brothers, friends and equal. Watching Larry Bird was like watching Magic Johnson, as they both shared the talent that the league had never seen before. They had charisma, they shot extraordinarily, they passed beautifully, and their team-oriented mindset led them to victory each time. This style of play was starting to influence the new horde of fans as we sit and marvel at what Magic Johnson and Larry Bird could do, while giving younger kids a different perspective of basketball in general. Both of them had presence on the court. It was only a small part of the contribution to basketball as a whole, as the rivalry changed the landscape of the NBA, transforming it from a struggling, very profitable league to one of the most financial profitable marketing dreams for any NBA star ever. Like, it put the NBA on the map. Now they're the biggest ever. Many people realize that the emergence of these two stars linked the rise of the NBA, as the NBA starts to market towards stars. Larry Bird was a wonderful shooter. He made at least 60 to 80% trash talking. Larry Bird was known for trash talking heavily on the court. He was known for telling his opponents how and where in the court he would score against them. Xavier McDaniel recounted that Bird predicted the game-winning shot against him and then shot right at his face. I was like, damn, I didn't even mean to leave 2 seconds on the clock when playing against Dennis Rodman, a player known for his defensive abilities in the 1987 Eastern Conference Finals. He continued to belittle Rodman's ability, at one point asking Chuck Daly, Detroit's head coach, to send someone up to the task of guarding him. Larry Bird was a serious trash talker and would talk down play as he was confident and ready to always win on the court. Larry Bird's style of play: foul-mouth, confident, charisma, and all-time great in basketball.
The black player who was great, and you had Bird was the white player who was great, and so it was just like a battle of, who was the better the styles. Bird was slow, could shoot the jumper. Magic was fast, can pass, and it was just like, this guy Bird, him being a white player, because we always felt like, this is a black sport, and so you're seeing a guy like Bird coming in and dominate, and it was just like, whoa, this is something that could last a long time. It started with them two in college,
yeah.
so I think that's what really made it even more of a rivalry since it started in college. You know, Bird was the player of the year, but Magic won it. Then Magic gets his first title in the NBA. Now they see each other in '84. Now it's like, you know, Bird has a chance to get his revenge. So it was like all kind of subplots with this rivalry just throughout the whole '80s decade. And it was just like, you know, whose side are you on? You know, pretty much.
What'd y'all make of the young Larry Bird when he sort of surfaced as your rival against you?
I remember the game he played against the Lakers the first year that the Celtics won the World Championship with him on the team. And he was ridiculous. He came on here. I remember our sportscaster played the Superman theme when he was talking about him that night after the game. Because he did everything, points, rebounds, assists, just steals, you name it. Larry has such a great mind for the game and, you know, a great touch. I had a lot of respect for him as a competitor.
And he was one of the biggest trash talkers that you'll ever see in your life.
Okay, that's what I want to hear
about. Larry
about.
talked more trash on the court than anybody. He'd tell you where he's going. He'd tell you when he catches it, there's nothing you could do about it. He was, and it was great trash talking because it wasn't vulgar. I mean, he wasn't, you know, pounding his chest. You can just be standing next to him. You know, I would jump out and try to block a shot on rotation, and he'd say, Scott, you're not getting that. Why are you even jumping? Why are you running out of it? But it was all game.
He'd say something like, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, I mean, he talked the whole game, and it was, you know, after the game and after years of thinking about it, you're like, man, that dude. But he was, like Cap said, he was ridiculous as far as the way he played the game. And that's why he's one of the greatest players ever played.
Played it here.
Right.
Yeah, which is where it starts, right here.
Right.
Yeah, but tough also, too, right?
Superior,
I mean,
but just superior mental approach to the game. And this young man learned a few things from him.
I studied the game. I studied a lot of Bird. He wasn't the most athletic, like myself, but he was able to get his shot off on anybody. I mean, he was one of the first stretch fours.
Right. Right. We sit there.
I mean,
we
talk about what's going on today.
To
you talk about a guy who was 6'9", 6'10", playing the four, shooting threes. That was unheard of back then.
Now, Larry, of course, was mostly in Indiana already by the time you were with Boston. Was he around those Celtics teams at all, or it was a little more enemy lines because he was at the different franchise?
He didn't really come around. I didn't even meet Bird until probably like a few years ago.
Really?
But I remember the one time we played Indiana in the playoffs. This is the first time he's come back. So he walks through the tunnel. I'm in the layup line, and all I hear is a loud roar. I'm like, man, who? I'm thinking, you know, Russell, Cousy, somebody in the building, and it's Larry Bird. They're chanting, Larry, and this is the playoff game. And it was like, whoa, there go Larry. This is my first time seeing him this close. Right. You know, so, you know, he just left an aura with him behind in Boston. He'll always be remembered. You know, he can always go back to Boston and
have
eat for free.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, drink for free, have a cigar, sit on, you know, just, you know, he's a legend. He earned it.
The All-Star game is in Dallas, the first three-point contest, and he just starts looking at guys, doesn't say a word, and people are getting kind of nervous. And then he finally speaks and says, I'm just looking to see who's going to finish second.
Some pure trash talking and just general bravado. And the theatrics of it all was made for Larry.
And Larry would back up his boast by not only winning the contest, but blowing away the competition with a phenomenal shooting display.
That chick's had my name on it for a week now, and I knew I was going to win this thing. I've been practicing, and my teammates said I wasn't going to win it, but I came back and lucked out, really.
Bird would luck out again the next year, but in 1988, it looked like his luck had finally run out.
He certainly doesn't have that normal Bird rhythm going for him. Seconds remaining.
He knew exactly what the score was. He knew that ball was going to win the competition for him, and it's almost like he did it in dramatic fashion just to make it more fun.
He knew it when he let it go and was headed for the winner's circle.
felt control, like a conductor, like a maestro.
Now they clear aside for Larry. Fakes it. Bird.
He passed it off the backboard to himself.
This guy was going to do one thing almost every night that really spun your head around, made you do like, couldn't believe this was happening.
Bird to Vincent to Bird. Over the backboard! Oh, I don't believe it.
He was playing chess and everybody else was playing checkers. He was 3 moves ahead of everybody else. And you never knew what he was going to do, but you knew it was going to be something special.
Bird steals it. You can see it coming, and look at the pass to McHale. Isn't that beautiful?
He would do a head fake, or he would do this, and the guy would turn, and he would just fake the crap out of guys.
There's the play of the game, right there.
Larry used to come in the locker rooms. He'd be getting his ankles taped, and he'd say, you know, hey, ball boy, run in and go find the scoring record in this building. You know, he needed those kind of challenges.
Bird with the step.
LeBron told Robert Reedy the other day that he should have stayed in preaching. That was funny. He had 50 points.
And you know, Larry Bird ain't never playing no great defense. He like sagging off a little bit. So he tell the guy, you can't shoot. So I'm not worrying about guard you. I said, man, shoot it in the face. Shoot it.
Mark hit a three-pointer on Larry Bird and said, take a look at that. And Bird just came right back and hit three-pointers in a row, and just basically said to him, and we all heard it, that you're out of your league.
Or he'd say, Danny, give me the ball, or DJ, give me the ball. I got this guy in the torture chamber down here. Why the guy was standing right there listening to him say it.
The ball went to Larry, and Isaiah was all out of whack. He had the ball at three-point range. He goes, hey, who's guarding me? Everybody looked around. He just stood there, held the ball, and Isaiah said, he ran out there and just shot it, three-pointer. Too late.
That's not trash. That's just fact.
You can't check me. I'm going to get 40 if you don't guard me. I got 20 already halftime.
Bird, he's hitting the list. He'll look at you like, hey, what you doing out here? You ready to call somebody else? I even heard him tell the coach, hey, look, coach, you better get somebody else out here to guard me because I'm killing this guy.
In last year's playoffs, Person was out to make Bird eat his words while adding a few choice comments of his own.
Chuck Person, he definitely has his reputation. During the playoffs, he just went AWOL, you know, and he just went to work.
You can see Gilson playing a little Bird, giving it back to him kind.
Chuck Person can talk some trash to Larry Bird now. He scored the last 16 points.
Chuck and Larry down low, greeting one another once again.
Bird, he has caught fire. Person stumped him and had something to say afterwards. And look at Bird. Person didn't dare look at him.
Yeah, it is a little special because I've known Chuck for a while and we've always had run-ins, but it always seems like I get the last word.
Bird's ability to get the final word has made for many a magic moment. And this week, we relive a game when Larry was in rare form and Xavier McDaniel was eager to lend an ear.
Tie game, 13 seconds to play. Celtics basketball, no shot clock.
They called a timeout. He said, you know I'm going to get it. And I said, I know I'm going to be waiting.
And during the timeout, I'm going for a play, and I said, all right, this is what we're going to run. All right, then you get the ball, you go over here, and you pass to Kevin, then you go to the corner, then Robert, you come over. Then about that time, Larry steps in and says, Coach, why don't you just give me the ball and tell everybody to get out of the way. Now, after the timeout, we walk back on the court, and Larry's going down to his position, so he tells Xavier, he says, I'm getting the ball.
Yeah, he said, I'm going to get it right here. I'm going to shoot it right in your face.
10 seconds. 5, and Bird has the basketball. Look out. 2 seconds on the clock.
And, you know, he was like, I didn't mean to leave 2 seconds on the clock. I walked back to the sideline like, damn.
Larry Bird, just phenomenal the way that he will contribute in the clutch time after time after time.
The end of Larry Bird's career. on the court. Larry Bird retired in 1992, moved to a front office position with the Celtics. He became the head coach of the Indiana Pacers in 1997 and was named coach of the year after his first season. He resigned in 2000 after guiding the Pacers to an appearance in the NBA Finals during the previous season in 1999, and he became the Pacers president of the basketball operations in 2003. In June 2012, he resigned from Pacers front office just weeks after winning the previous season's Executive of the Year award. After years away from sport, he returned to his position as the Pacers president of basketball operations in June 2013. Larry Bird again stepped down in May of 2017, having constructed teams that qualified for the playoffs in 8 of the 13 seasons in that position, and then took the role in the Pacers organization as a scout and consultant. Basically, this is, well, where Larry Bird's story ended with basketball. He still makes appearances here and there, just showing his face in interviews and all that, but he's, well, he stars to ever play basketball. Thank you for watching this documentary. I hope you enjoyed it. Share your thoughts in the comment section. If you didn't enjoy it, what can I work on? If you enjoyed it, thank you for watching. And what can I work on regardless? If you like to see this type of documentaries and all different types of topics, subscribe and hit the like button. It really helps with the algorithm. Thank you. It's been Nazaro, and see you in the next one. Peace.
Oh my God.